Good day, everybody, and I hope you're all doing well. I myself am doing just fine. Our first story comes from the Reddit bin of r/confessions, and it is entitled, I went through an ex's phone while he was sleeping. It was an iPhone, so I just covered the camera with my thumb and typed in the passcode that took me days of subtly watching to find out. We weren't even serious, but he was living at my house most of the week and never contributing a thing, so I felt entitled. I did in fact find that he was messaging multiple girls on Tinder and asking some girl on Snap to cheat on her boyfriend with him. I went back to bed so angry I couldn't even think. I brought it up and he left and cut things off. I do regret violating his privacy, but I'm glad I was able to move on. Yeah, sounds to me like you really dodged a bullet there, OP. This next confession is entitled, I do not want to be with my husband anymore, but I am not strong enough to tell him. First time posting, so I apologize for any errors. My husband and I have been together for almost 9 years, married for 3. When we first got together, everything was great. We were always doing something and always together. We were happy. Ever since we've been married, and if I'm being honest, even before that, I've not been happy. We are complete opposites, and that used to be okay. Over the years, though, I've started to resent him for how he is. We went from spending all of our time together to no time at all. You see, he is very much into video games. If he is not at work, then he is gaming. When he first started gaming, I was okay with it, as I do know that everyone needs a hobby or an outlet. Pretty soon, though, it became an obsession. I solely take care of all things related to our home and his child. I pay all bills excluding our car insurance. I pay all expenses related to his daughter, who does live with us full time until she graduates. I have tried time and time again to get him to see that I can't do everything alone and that I shouldn't have to. He tells me he will do better, and he does for a week or so, and then we're back into the same routine we were in before. I am so mentally exhausted that I feel I just cannot be in this relationship any longer. I did try and leave 2 years ago because I did hit a breaking point just like I am now. He didn't take it well and stated that he was going to harm himself. His manipulation worked and I stayed, and I have regretted that every day. Friends and family have been telling me for a long while now that I need to leave. I'm still young and I can start over. I just don't think I'm strong enough. How does one get the strength to do something that they know they need to do? My stepdaughter, who's 16, is one of my best friends. She's an amazing kid, and I really cannot imagine her not in my life. She knows I have been unhappy. She makes comments to me constantly about her father's behavior. She is always telling him he needs to do better. It does not make a difference. I wish it did. My husband isn't a bad person. He's not mean. He doesn't yell. He's not rude. I do love him, but not in the way that one is supposed to when they're married. I do not want to resent him any longer, but that is all I feel when I look at him. It makes me feel so horrible having those feelings. I know if I try and leave again, he will threaten to harm himself once more, and I just don't think I'm strong enough not to blame myself. I wish I was. I wish that more than anything. How does one get the strength to do what in their heart they know they need to do? Well, I think you just really need to weigh your options, and maybe you need to talk about this with your stepdaughter, who you said is one of your best friends. If she's on board with it, and she's going to still, maintain a relationship with you and stuff, and I don't know. I think you just need to say, look, I'm done. I'm done with all of it, and we need to figure out how we're going to split up. You just need to say it. Just blurt it out. Once you do, then you're going to have to talk about it. And, you just have to make that first step of just blurting it out. Just saying, you know what, I'm really unhappy and I want to leave. And that's that. It doesn't seem like you're willing to change. I don't think that I want to do counseling because I'm just kind of done. That's it. I mean, I don't know. You just have to hit that breaking point. And it doesn't sound like you're there yet, honestly. Sounds like you want to be there. You just don't have the guts to just say it. And you know what? It might not blow up your life as much as you think it will. It might actually be really beneficial. And like you said, if you're young, you can move on. If your stepdaughter is still in your life, that's a big bonus, right? Because you said that she's an amazing kid and that you love her so much. So, hey, just go for it. Just go for it. Just blurt it out at dinner or something. Just go for it. Get that first step in there so that you kind of force the issue to be talked about. That's really the only advice I can give you. Anyway, good luck, OP, and I hope this works out for you in the end. Our next confession is I hate religion. I hate religion. It's been forced on me ever since I was little. I never cared for it. I was forced to go to catechism. For those of you who don't know, I grew up Catholic, and I was also forced to go to catechism, or CCD as we called it. Basically, it's like a Sunday school that's every freaking day. Anyway, back to the story. I already had my first communion and my first confirmation, but I hated it. My mom forces me to go to church, even though she knows I hate going. I consider myself to be an agnostic or maybe an atheist, not really sure. She found out that me and my sister called our dad so we wouldn't have to go to church, and she told my grandma about it. My grandma's really religious, and she told me I'm nothing without God. Yeah, except, you're a human being, but, I guess, whatever. Of course, I respect what other people believe in, but what bothers me is that my family doesn't respect what I believe in. They act as if me being an atheist or an agnostic is a bad thing. Well, it isn't. You can be who you are, and you don't have to believe in something that doesn't have any evidence to support it. I don't care about people believing in God and stuff like that. That's great. But once they start to think that other people need to act the same way or need to believe the same things, and they try to push that on other people, then that's definitely not okay. I paid off my loans selling mushrooms and weed. 25 years ago, I went to art school on a student loan, and I really enjoyed the courses. I also had a bit too much fun partying in the rave scene after hours. Toward the end of my studies, I got my girlfriend pregnant. It was quite intense. I had to get into the real world. Needless to say, my art experience wasn't going to pay for too much. My girlfriend's mother took me in to stay with her and my girlfriend. I got a job in a factory, which was a very stressful job. The pay was mediocre, and I had to work 13 days on and then had 1 day off. It was not going to work long term if I wanted to be a better father than my alcoholic dad. I eventually quit the factory job and worked as a barman for a few months. That sort of ran dry when shifts ran out. We moved to my parents' house in the country when we heard about a cheap shop space up for rent in that area. I started a small art shop selling to tourists and local people. Things were really tough. Eventually, I made a friend who was selling shrooms and weed. So I bought some shrooms and sent them back to the city where I still had friends in the rave scene. A third of the money that I made from the shrooms went to paying off my debt. A third went towards home and expenses, and a third went towards my studio shop. It took me 3 years to pay it off. I decided to get out of the shroom game as my paranoia around selling was growing. Then, over the course of about 5 years, my girlfriend and I got married. She took over my mother's little shop. We had another kid. Oops. We needed to expand and move our little shops together to a better venue that I needed to build. I had lost contact with shroom buyers, etc., so desperate for a way to finance things, I decided to grow a little weed. It turned out far more lucrative than expected, as weed was still illegal then. It was very stressful and surprisingly a large amount of work. Over the course of a few years in a small outdoor grows and my mushroom supplier friends selling for me, I managed to pay off my mortgage. This was about a decade plus ago. I quit while I was ahead again. Smart move, dude, you don't want to get busted. This didn't happen in the USA, and this is likely just a story. Everyone involved is now middle-aged, and we live within the laws. Still married to my wife? Things haven't been easy, but we do our best. Hey man, if you don't have a hustle going on, then you probably aren't making ends meet. That's all I gotta say. Wow, this one felt like a long video. Thanks, everybody, if you made it to the end, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care until then. Bye-bye.